Park High School, a popular suburban comprehensive in the borough of Harrow, is holding its annual party for old people. More than 200 pensioners have crammed into the school's hall.
It is very pleasant for me to see elderly people and young people together enjoying themselves, because I think young people nowadays get a very bad press. The vast majority are in fact very nice to be with. So have a lovely time this afternoon and enjoy yourselves.
Most of the old folk here today need particular care and attention.
I'm sure you wouldn't believe, but we've actually lost somebody.
The number of pupils at Park High who have special needs is much smaller, but growing. About 1 in 12 children at the comprehensive is classified as having learning difficulties or a disability. Gavin was born with deformed hands.
Right, push. Lovely. Great, fantastic.
I don't think there should be a problem for handicapped children. Other children, like the able-bodied children, accept that now, that they are handicapped children, about that they're not being hidden anymore.
Oh, do you want to make a move or not? Does she want to invite a move?
No, she just doesn't want to do what she's told.
Oh, I see. Oh, I'll leave it to you to do it.
Dark region here, which we call the saddle.
Marion has hearing difficulties. And so does Chetan.
How important is it for children like Chetan and Marion that they go to a mainstream school and not a special school? I mean, do you think that's important?
I think it's very important. They're at a local school, they're with people that live near them. And, you know, the crunch comes when they're leaving school and they're going to be out in the hearing world.
Terry comes from China and has language difficulties. Today, a lesson about AIDS.
When a man is sexually excited, yes, and he ejaculates, he has an orgasm.
That has developed from this.
All right, help me out. Come on, what's the word that the kids would use?
I wouldn't know.
Oh, I see.
It's good to see it happening, that children that perhaps would have been sent to a special school for physically disabled or sent to a special school for the deaf, those children actually coming into mainstream schools. And that is a challenge. I think it can work, but it does need a lot of thought and it needs a lot of consideration.
Never mind, you're getting it. Thank you very much. Goodbye, you beautiful people. Bye.
Parents' evening and a row is brewing. Mr. and Mrs. Stein's daughter Deborah has been given a detention for leaving school during lessons without permission. She claims that a first-year pupil told her that her mother, who is recovering from a car crash, had been taken ill at home. It was only when she got home that she discovered she was the victim of a cruel prank. The parents meet Deputy Head John Rumble.
I'm afraid to say that she is not going to do detention because somebody has played a practical joke on my daughter. I must say this is not the first practical joke being played on us by pupils of your school. We had phone calls in the middle of the night, all night long, yoghurt thrown at our car. This was the last straw.
The school are not convinced by Deborah's story about the boy, believing that it might be more than coincidence that she went home just before a science test.
She must recognise the
She
person.
doesn't think she would. She said her mind, I mean, she said to me, Mummy, my mind went blank. She said, when they said you were ill, all I could think of was you lying somewhere and I had to get home and I just ran out of school.
I personally would say it is imperative that we try to find out
we've
who
told her.
this
We've told her
person
this.
was.
The head will deal with the matter.
My wife and myself do not get on too well with Mr. Ford. So
We've had words,
we've had words before.
Well,
so, you know...
You're not really asking me as a deputy to intervene between him and you, are you?
No, but I'm just saying, I'm making you aware of the situation.
We're making you aware.
There is no way that I would be foolish enough to do that.
No.
It's almost a year to the day that Deborah was given 3 detentions for fighting. Her parents again thought it was unfair and refused to let her serve them. The head disagreed, but eventually a compromise was reached and she served 1. The head sees Deborah to ask her if she's been able to find this mystery boy.
Have you found this first-year boy yet?
No.
You haven't?
No, sir.
So why not?
I haven't seen him or anything.
Now, you haven't come up with this boy. I cannot possibly accept your story unless you do so. Right? Right, thank you. Take that home. And slam the door on your way out.
What about if the school says this time she must do her detention?
Well, then it goes obviously to the Board of Governors.
Board of Governors, Education Department, local MP, I don't know, whoever else
because
there
we
is.
feel she's
been victimised.
Victimised.
When the parents send children to school, they accept the school's authority and discipline. This is a normal, routine matter. It's a detention. She's got to do it, I'm afraid.
Lee Singh is one of the brightest boys in the school. He's 15 and has composed this piece for his music GCSE. He's not classified as a special needs pupil and therefore does not receive extra individual attention.
It's quite exceptional, really, and you'd see people producing similar things at colleges of music or at university departments. He's the first person I've met who's got that sort of degree of competence.
And how long have you been teaching for?
8 years.
Natasha is 12 and has special needs. She was born with cerebral palsy and is new to Park High.
Dressing is a problem. She has her hair short because she couldn't look after her own hair. Laces, cutting up food. She has lots of problems, really. Games with other kids. Kids don't like playing with her because she's slower.
Adapting to life at secondary school is not proving easy for Natasha.
If they're writing something, they've got to get something down off the board. You know, they only have many minutes to get it all down. Well, Tasha comes home, she'll cry. You didn't have time to get it down, Mum.
Unlike Natasha, Lee Sin faces no such hurdles. Yet some teachers believe he should still be classed as a special needs pupil.
Children like Lee Sin, for example, who are really exceptional, get no special provision, and that's the thing which can sadden and annoy many teachers. He is a special needs pupil because his own degree of personal advancement is vastly more than most pupils in the school.
For Natasha, it's not just the physical demands of school, she also has to face the cruelty of some children.
A couple of the kids were going, oh, you're spastic, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. And it just reduces Tash to tears, and she's got enough to cope with without having to deal with that kind of, you know, from the rest of the kids. But you're going to get it. I mean, she's a loving kid, and I don't know, I can't stand to watch people sort of dig the knife in, because she tries so hard.
At the present moment, I feel that the provision for people who are struggling is really excellent. But I think that we've yet to really explore the possibilities for helping people like this and to achieve their real potential. He doesn't get a good deal from school.
This is her first report. I am disappointed everything is poor. The only thing that is sort of exceptional is her attitude. She's so willing.
Do you think that it's a possibility that Natasha, that the conclusion might be actually mainstream school is not right for her?
No, I don't think that. I think that she'll be okay.
I like the idea of these kids entering these schools because it doesn't make them so different, you know, and they are part of society. I mean, there's nothing really wrong. She's not that handicapped, but I really can't see her coping. It will make her feel as though she's failed if I have to take her out. And I don't really want to do that, but I will if it's necessary.
Yes, please.
A fight has been broken up. Now John Rumble tries to find out from Robert, who's been attacked, what's happened.
How did it start?
I don't know.
No, did you start punching somebody?
No.
Right. So somebody started punching you?
Yeah.
Well, why?
Don't know.
So somebody just comes up to you and starts to punch you?
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense, does it? Is room 7 open?
It's unfortunate for Robert that his stonewalling is in vain. His younger brother has already been in and spilled the beans.
Well, my brother said something, Robert Taylor, my brother, said something about Jamie's girlfriend.
So why did Jamie start to punch you then?
Who said it was Jamie?
I said it was Jamie. You just heard me.
Yeah, it weren't Jamie.
Why, what did your brother say then?
Something about she's ugly or something like that.
Dear, I've already seen some other people.
So?
So, don't try to make out it wasn't him.
So what if it was?
Very well. Now, don't start to get aggressive with me. He started hitting him. Do you mean punching him? What do you mean? Hitting him, punching him, kicking him, what?
Punching him and they need him, sir.
You think about it. Okay, you don't upset yourself and don't get yourself in that silly situation. Robert! Robert! Come here. Come here. Don't slam the door on me like that, old chap, right? Now, don't get yourself in that silly state where you start getting yourself into trouble. Right? If you're not in trouble, don't get yourself into trouble. And don't start slamming the door on me. Because then you will get into trouble, won't you? Eh?
Yeah.
Well, you take it steady then.
No, but I'm not coming at 12 o'clock, so I ain't getting in trouble.
Well, you will do if you don't see me, won't you?
Yeah, why should I see you 12 o'clock?
Because I want to know what was going on. That's why.
Jamie arrives to give his side of the fight.
Like, he goes, oh, that's bad, that's rough. You know, it's my girlfriend taking the mic out of her. Like,
So he said that's...
She says that's grotty or something.
He said?
He said she's grotty. Like, rough and ugly. So I grabbed Rob and I said outside, and he wouldn't come outside. So I put him up against the wall and I just hit him. It's like, the way he says it, it's just provocative. The way he keeps, like, he always says little things that wind me up to a certain stage. Like, he says things before.
But
like, we're
you
always
can't afford to get yourself wound up in that way. Because if you do, you'll wind up in court.
No, he's just like whinging about, oh, Jamie hit me, I've got a little bruise on the side of my head. What's the problem?
Did he whinge? Did he whinge?
Yes, he did, 'cause he walks away like this, I'm going to get Mr. Ford and you're going to get done and all this.
Well, that's because you had obviously hurt him.
Well, he shouldn't have hurt me. He hurt my pride, he hurt my, like, self-esteem. These, what other big words do I know?
What other big words do you know? You're doing quite well. Self-esteem and pride is very good. It hasn't hurt your honour all that much, if that's what he said. There are things he could have said a lot more than that.
Yeah,
what would you have done
me,
then?
you know,
Taken a knife to him or something?
No, I'll just laid him out on the floor.
Well, don't be so foolish. If you had turned round and said to him, well, you've got a lot to talk about, look at your ugly mush, or something like that, then I would have said, OK, you're quits.
But I think we're quits now.
No, you're not.
So what do you want him to do? Go and try and smack me one?
No, certainly not. I want the situation to be repaired. There's no excuse. So you are going to say to Robert Taylor, there is no excuse for what I did to you.
I ain't apologising to him.
Robert is brought in.
Is it right that you made some silly remarks about his girlfriend, Robert?
So after he said something to me?
No, it was before you... Rob, when she come down the stairs, you said, oh, that blonde thing, first of all. Then what's her name? Raquel's little sister come up, started talking to you, and I said, you sorting that out then, Rob? And you says, I'd rather be sorting that out than the grotty thing you're going out with.
I'll sort it out between the two of you if you like. Do you think it was unacceptable what you said, Robert?
So?
You do? OK. Apologise to him then.
Sorry, Jamie.
We clear it.
Sorry, Robert, didn't mean it. Shame.
No.
Thanks.
Can we close the situation there then?
Yes, sir.
Jamie is one of 20 pupils at Park High School who is diagnosed as dyslexic. He's a likeable boy, but in the past has had severe behavioural problems. He's been excluded from other schools and is now trying to reform at Park.
He was very anti-establishment, very anti-schools and teachers and things like that. I think he recognises now that teachers aren't necessarily his enemies, that they actually can be very helpful and supportive. He still gets into trouble, but compared to what he could have been like, I think Jamie's achieved quite a lot.
Cooperator, a source pair of source.
Luke is also dyslexic, but very different. A quiet, diligent pupil, he's worked with a determination that has obscured the true scale of his problem.
He has fought his problem all the way along. I mean, he will sit and redraft a piece of work 3 times. Had he not done that, had he given in the initial draft, then I think that people would have realised that the problem is worse than we see it to be.
Do you remember the first time you ever heard the word dyslexia?
Yeah, I was staying upstairs in my room and on the landing, and I heard my mum and dad talking about my report, and they said that they thought I might have been dyslexic. And this teacher was going, no, you're not. Your son's just got a little bit of a problem there, which is a bit sad, really, because I think if I had help from when I was at junior school, then I might be better at spelling and things like that now.
When did you think, oh, things aren't going very well?
When my old man tried to make me read the alphabet when I was a little kid, we used to live in a flat and I just ripped it up in his face and walked off.
How old were you then?
I think I was 5. And I had a teacher come in, I remember one time telling me that I wasn't dyslexic, and I didn't even know what dyslexia was then. And I was saying, what's dyslexia? And she goes, well, you're not it anyway, you're just slow and you're just lazy, you just don't want to do the work. And really, I suppose I thought, well, I'm just slow, I'm lazy, I don't want to do the work. Oh, fair enough, I'm labelled with that, I'll do that.
It just makes school life slower, really. You have to think more and try harder. It gets a bit down at times because you don't really get to enjoy yourself too much. It's embarrassing, isn't it, really? You don't really want to do anything with spelling, or at least not show it to anybody else. That's why I don't like showing people my work, sort of thing.
So, I mean, are you embarrassed about it?
I'm not embarrassed. I'm just. I'm not sure what I am, actually. Just confused, sort of thing.
Jamie believes his dyslexia led to his behavioural problems.
My form tutor made me look stupid in front of the class because he never gave me a sheet. He gave everyone a sheet and says, you can't do this, it's too hard, or something like that. And after the lesson, he's phoned up my dad and I've got really annoyed, slammed down the phone, told him, if you ever do that again, I'm going to throw you through a window. Like, I was standing right next to a window and he's standing next to me. I says, look, you're at that ground faster than anything.
Well, I think at times, if I didn't have dyslexia, what could I achieve without it? Because I hope I achieved a fair bit with it. But then you seem to think, well, I have got dyslexia, there's nothing I can do about it, so I've just got to keep trying and try the best I can with it.
Do you enjoy school?
I don't dislike it.
Your behaviour has been better.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Because I feel to a extent I don't have to prove anything anymore. Really, I don't know what it is, maybe I'm growing up, but there's nothing to prove to anyone, so I don't feel like doing it. I think I've come to terms with it more and I find it easier to work with my dyslexia.
Is it something that you've accepted you've got to live with for the rest of your life?
Yeah, I've accepted that. A bit reluctantly, but I've accepted it. It's going to be hard, but some people are worse off, so I suppose I've got to grant myself lucky.
Both boys are in their last year at Park and are now thinking about the future.
When I was in my work experience, all I was doing was washing up, and I'm thinking, great life, like behind the kitchen sink all the time. And I was thinking, in school, like, I'm sitting down, when it comes down to the crunch, really, I'm not ever doing too much, but I'm always doing enough. And really, when I think about it, school's a lot easier than anything else. I suppose school's a DOS, really, half the time.
Just imagine, 5 years' time, what do you think you'll be doing? Where do you think you'll be?
Well, I don't know where I'll be. Hopefully I'll be training to be a teacher in some college or wherever, if I'm lucky.
Are you worried about being unemployed? At any point?
No, because I suppose if I am unemployed, there's always ways of making money, and then everyone knows that.
What ways?
They can't be said, can they?
The Stein family have come to see the head about Deborah's detention. The head does not believe Deborah's story.
Where were you told this message?
Down by the medical office by the steps.
What were you doing down there?
On my way up to my lesson.
Why were you down the other end of the school?
Because I went that way.
There is no way from the
I always
drama
go
room.
that way.
No, the drama room is there. The science room is above the drama room. The other end of the school, right the way down there. There's no way you can get to science without going on a total circuit of the school and coming back on yourself. There are...
I can't remember why I went that way, but I usually always go that way.
Well, I can't understand that, Deborah. That just doesn't...
I don't think that's really very relevant.
I think it's totally relevant. If you listen through to what I'm going to say, I think it's totally relevant. So this boy came up to you, he knew your name. So someone you had never met before, you knew his name.
Yeah.
Sorry, he knew your name.
Yeah.
I don't understand how that could be possible. You were right by the medical room, where there's a telephone, medical assistance, and the signing out book. Did it not occur to you to take advantage of any of those
No.
assistants because the telephone would have been quicker anyway?
No.
Have you been given a chance to find this boy? Have we offered every chance for you
Yes.
to find him? Have you found him?
No.
So he can't be found?
No.
Well, I'm very sorry. I cannot possibly accept the story because I think that basically there was a science test on during that lesson.
Rubbish. She's done the science test and she's passed it with flying colours.
Did she take it at the time?
She took it that afternoon.
But she didn't take it at the time. It's not rubbish. I object to that, quite frankly. It's not rubbish.
I don't care what you object to be quite honest.
I honestly don't think that this is going to get us very far.
Well, I don't think it will get us very far because obviously you've already made up your mind. Not
You just
prepared.
called my daughter a liar in front of us, basically. Yes.
I
And
believe...
she's not a liar.
OK, but I don't accept her story. There's too much wrong with it. And if I'm taking this in the cold light of the facts, I believe that she truanted from school.
I feel you're not, you know, you're not taking it as the wisdom of Solomon as I thought a headmaster would have. You know, there's always two sides to a case.
Absolutely.
And you're not prepared to listen to her parents' side.
I've listened to
you,
your
you know,
side.
you seem to think that my wife's fabricating all her illnesses.
Absolutely not.
No, let me finish. There is no way we would condone her playing truancy.
Absolutely not.
In no way. No. And she never has done. Is that correct?
I don't know. I've
Well,
never
you've
caught
got her records.
Well, if she did it without us finding. I don't know that. I
Right,
haven't
well, she
accused her of
doesn't play
truancy.
truancy, and we don't allow it.
No.
OK? But what I object to is the detention. I have no objection to you giving her a warning that she has to be more sensible in these matters because of the school procedures. But I object to the detention. If she doesn't do the detention, what are you going to do?
I can't accept responsibility for her welfare if she won't accept, or you won't accept, normal school regulations.
No, no, I'm asking you if we feel that she's not going to do the detention, what will happen?
I can't accept responsibility for her welfare, which means I can't accept her at this school, and I'll have to ask you to find another school for her. I'm making a stand on this, as I would with any other pupil, but I think it's only fair for me to mention the following. Last year, Deborah received some detentions for misbehaviour. She served a detention, as far as I'm
Excuse
concerned.
me, I can't see what her past detention has got to do, her past case has got to do with this.
You said, excuse me, can I finish what I was saying?
Yes.
Thank you. Last summer, I caught Deborah smoking outside school with a group of junior pupils, younger age group to her. I brought them back into school. This was at lunchtime, they were in the bushes up the road. I brought them back into school, and I was dealing with, as usual, one by one. I had the first of the younger ones in here and was speaking to her, when Deborah, loudly outside this door, loudly enough to be heard in the room, and it stopped the conversation between myself and this younger pupil, said, "Don't worry, he won't do anything to us, he's scared of my mum." She then followed it up with, because obviously someone outside asked her why she was saying that, she followed it up with, "Oh, well, last time I was in trouble, I got off because I got my mum up the school."
She didn't get off. Rubbish.
She didn't
get off.
Can I finish, please?
Well, no, because you're bringing... I can't see the point
No,
of
I
bringing
can't see
it
the
up.
point of this at all. Can I just say something
I
here
can't
and
finish
now?
that.
No, I'm going to
Go
say
on.
something right here and now.
Yep.
You've got it in for my daughter. You've got it in for us because we are not, yes, Mr. Ford, no, Mr. Ford parents. We stick up for our children. We always will and we always have done. And I don't think you're going to change our minds.
Can I finish what I was saying?
I can't see the point of bringing that up, quite frankly. This is
Well, you
completely irrelevant to this particular incident. And I think you'll agree, and anybody in this room will agree, that it's completely irrelevant to this...
Well, I would hardly agree with that,
there's
considering
no
I
point,
brought it up, would I?
Look, there's no point continuing it in this manner.
No.
You're not prepared to be a little bit reasonable in this matter, then there's no point in continuing.
Well, if I can say, if you're not prepared to be reasonable in carrying out...
We are very reasonable.
I can't even finish the sentence. In carrying out a normal school punishment, which is accepted, and I think a very lenient one, half-an-hour detention, then I'm sorry, I don't think you're being at all reasonable, and I must stand on the grounds that this school must run efficiently and effectively.
There's two sides to a case, and you're only prepared to listen to one.
And you're only prepared to listen to yours.
I'm asking you to perhaps be a little bit more sensible in the matter.
I'm asking you to be sensible in the matter.
Well, then we have a conflict on
We do
this.
indeed.
So I don't think there's any need to continue.
What was she doing down by the medical room? That floored her. She didn't know what to say, which is why she looked away. She didn't have a clue. She usually goes to science that way. What is wrong? Okay.
It's sad that they just...
I know.
are so...
For half an hour's detention.
I know.
Mr. Ford wasn't prepared to listen to us. He'd already made his mind up, and he decided that Deborah was going to have a punishment or else, and he just wasn't going to listen. He'd already decided.
OK, you know, there are two sides to everything, as the father said, and I accept that. But they're certainly not listening to our side.
Do you think your daughter lied about this?
No, I don't. She's not perfect. Please don't think that she's perfect. She is not perfect. She's a normal 15-year-old who I'm sure will get up to goodness knows what in her time. But lying, she doesn't.
There's no question in my mind. She made it up. Now she's dug herself a hole. And she can't admit to making it up because she's put her parents to all this trouble. And I can't back down because the message it gives. You know, if she causes nuisance like this, she gets away with it. It's not right for her and it's not right for the school.
Deborah does not attend the detention and is excluded from school. In next week's programme, her parents fight that decision. Natasha has just started her second year and is now coping well.
I think at the end of Park High, perhaps I'm dreaming, but I can see her going to college. I can see her leading a normal working life.
Lee Sin, as expected, achieved grade A's in all 10 of his GCSEs.
I'm sure many schools have people like Lee Sin, but I don't know whether we have a strategy developing for them.
Jamie's highest grade was an F. He's applied for a job at a shoe shop.
Do you regret what happened before?
I wouldn't change none of it, no, because really, I suppose the way I dealt with it was the only way I could come to terms with it, I suppose.
And Luke did well. He got 6 GCSEs between grades A and C. He still hopes to become a teacher.
I think everything's gone pretty well against dyslexia. I think I'm winning now.
Do not run on the cricket square.
Can you do it off school premises? I really don't want to know.
The next time you two behave in a science lesson like that, I shall walk you to the door myself.
If you've been in a fish and chip shop, blood will flow.
It's shrunk!
No one's using it ever again.
Ever?
Ever.